2024, Caitlin Clark's rookie season helped the WNBA hit milestone TV and attendance figures, but Clark's emergence created a toxic, racially divisive narrative that she
has announced that her shoe will be released on May this year. And there was a clip that came out during her celebration.
She was almost single-handedly responsible for salvaging a league's foundation when built by mostly black player base. First of all, Caitlin Clark is...
That she kind of knew about this for the past 2 years, and it's been causing a ruckus. Now I had to go...
The drama surrounding this moment didn't begin with a single tweet or a heated interview. It began quietly, behind closed doors, in boardrooms where marketing strategies are treated like battlefield plans. One decision, one launch date, one commercial changed the emotional climate of an entire league. When Caitlin Clark's Nike campaign dropped on Christmas Day, it wasn't just a commercial, it was a declaration. And within hours, the air around the WNBA felt heavier, sharper, more divided. Fans started picking sides before most of them had even finished watching the ad. Then came the reaction from Aya Wilson, and suddenly what could have been a celebration turned into a cultural fault line. 4 years, Wilson stood as the league's standard of greatness. MVP awards, championships, consistency, respect. She did everything the traditional way. Win first. Let the recognition follow. But recognition in today's world doesn't follow trophies. It follows attention. And attention, once it shifts, doesn't ask for permission. When news broke that Wilson had known about her shoe deal for years, while publicly pushing the idea that she was being overlooked, that narrative began to crack. It didn't make her wrong for wanting more, but it changed how people heard her voice. Because at the same time that story was circulating, Caitlin Clark was becoming something the league had never seen before. Not just a great player, but a cultural event. Then Nike stepped in. Not quietly, not cautiously. They dropped Clark's campaign on Christmas Day, 40 years after Michael Jordan's legendary holiday ad. That timing wasn't accidental. That was symbolism. That was Nike saying this isn't just another athlete, this is a cornerstone. The production alone told the story before anyone said a word. Streets shut down. Cameras everywhere. Celebrities tied to Clark's world showing up, not randomly, but as part of a carefully built narrative. This wasn't a commercial meant to fill a slot. It was meant to define an era. When people put Wilson's ad next to Clark's, the contrast didn't need explaining. One felt like it had been planned for years, refined through endless meetings and revisions. The other felt like something assembled to meet a deadline. Not broken, not embarrassing, but forgettable. And in marketing, forgettable is the real failure. The anger didn't come from jealousy alone. It came from the realization that effort itself was uneven. When two stars were the same logo, people expect the same level of care. When that doesn't happen, questions don't just appear. They explode. Wilson isn't weak. She isn't undeserving. She is elite. But elite doesn't guarantee spotlight anymore. The league has quietly crossed into a new era where visibility outruns resume. Clark didn't just bring skill. She brought crowds, ratings, merchandise sales, headlines, debates, love, hate, obsession. She didn't walk into the WNBA. She stormed it. And Nike, like every major corporation, follows heat. Not fairness. Not patience. Heat. That's why they went all in on Clark. That's why the investment looks lopsided. Not because Wilson lacks value, but because Clark generates a kind of energy brands can't ignore. This is where the emotional weight of it hits. Imagine standing on top for years, watching the league grow, believing that when the world finally paid attention, you would be its face. Then suddenly the spotlight swings so fast it almost feels violent. Not because you fell off, but because someone else arrived carrying a storm. That kind of shift messes with anyone. It makes people question their place, their timing, their worth. Wilson's reaction didn't come from nowhere. It came from watching history pivot while she was still standing in it. The timing made everything worse. Clark's campaign dropped before her shoe even hit shelves. Massive marketing before product. That's risky. But it also shows confidence so loud it borders on arrogance. Nike wasn't waiting to see if Clark would last. They were betting that she already had. That kind of faith is flattering to one athlete and crushing to another who's been grinding for years waiting for the same moment. Then came the deeper argument. Race. Representation. History. People started pointing out which athletes had signature shoes, who got deals faster, who waited longer, and what they all looked like. That conversation didn't appear because of one ad. It appeared because of decades of imbalance finally colliding with a modern marketing machine that doesn't pretend to care about optics if profits are strong enough. Clark didn't create that tension, but she became the symbol of it. Not because of who she is, but because of what she represents in this moment. The truth underneath all of this is uncomfortable. Sports want to believe greatness is enough. That trophies protect you. That respect guarantees visibility. But modern fame doesn't work that way. Influence now grows faster than legacy. Narrative grows faster than history. Clark didn't replace Wilson's greatness. She replaced the league's center of gravity. And once gravity shifts, everything else has to move. This moment will be remembered not just as drama between two stars, but as the exact point where the WNBA crossed into a new marketing reality, where attention became more powerful than achievement, where brands stopped pretending they cared equally and started showing who they believe could carry the future. That doesn't erase Wilson, but it changes her position in the story, not as a fallen star, but as a star watching the sky rearrange itself. What makes this so intense isn't the commercials. It's what they symbolize. They show how quickly power moves, how easily legacy gets challenged by momentum, how painful it is to realize that being the best isn't always enough to be the chosen one. Clark didn't steal anything, but she arrived at the exact moment the world was ready to look somewhere new, and Nike followed that look without hesitation. The league is still adjusting. Fans are still arguing. Players are still watching closely. Because once a brand like Nike makes a choice this loud, every future deal, every campaign, every athlete will be measured against this moment. This wasn't just marketing. It was a line in history where dominance stepped aside for influence, and influence became the new crown everyone now has to chase. And now it's your turn to speak on it. Do you think Nike made the right call betting so big on Caitlin Clark? Do you think Aya Wilson deserved more from the brand that built her image for years? Is this about business, bias, timing, or something deeper that sports still refuses to face? Drop your thoughts below, hit like if this story made you think, and subscribe so you don't miss the next chapter of the drama shaping the future of the game.